course, no sooner than I put the video out for the weather, Avalanche Canada issues a new public special avalanche warning there. Let's talk about that right now. There it is. This is bad news. My God.
Falling out right now.
Anything could happen. Get on! Wow. I'll watch the video later.
Feel the heat. Keep on going to the water.
They try mopping this. I just get done putting up a weather video, and Avalanche Canada says, oh yeah, by the way, here's a special public avalanche warning until March 3rd that you didn't tell your viewers about. I'm like, well, you didn't put it out early enough in the day. Too bad. Let's talk about it anyways. Here I am doing double shift, everybody. Doing double shift right now on the channel, looking at special public avalanche warning for everywhere. Recent widespread large avalanche activity indicates an unstable snowpack. Continue to make conservative terrain choices. This and that. Oh, we got another black dot here. What's that? A new fatality in the mountains we didn't know about, folks. So, okay, this is terrible. So not only do we have this new special public avalanche warning, we also have a new fatality to report on this week. Where are we? Looks like the Purcell Mountains, more or less. It's hard to tell with this weird hatching on it. I know they're trying to look. Yeah, it looks like the Purcell is more or less there down the south end. A group of 3 snowmobilers are riding in an area below Thunderwater Lake in the Forester Creek drainage. One rider triggered an avalanche on a steep, rocky, northeast-facing, wind-affected slope and was fully buried. A companion rescue was carried out with assistance from other riders in the area, but unfortunately the subject did not survive. The avalanche was approximately 40 meters wide with a crown depth of 50 to 60 centimeters and a run length of 300 meters. The avalanche is believed to have released a layer of facets buried at the end of January. This happened last week Sunday. Here's what we have for an image, and it's not much. It's just this right here. So, new fatality at Forester Creek, and to everybody who's involved, to the SAR teams, to the families, to the people who are there. My condolences, but please, I've put out about 5 videos on this channel. If you watch this channel regularly, please share them. I've put out like 5 videos on this channel in the last number of weeks talking about how bad the avalanche danger is right now and is going to be. Despite the fact we haven't had a lot of snow, there's changing conditions happening right now. We had a fairly stable period for a while it was cold and dry. That has ended, and we're now in this special public avalanche warning. Let's talk about what that means, just to give you a better picture. But terrible tragedy. That's 2 so far this year. It's much down. But March tends to be a month where a lot of people get killed by avalanches in BC. I've noticed this over the years, where we get to like the end of February, I'm like, well, I guess the season wasn't too bad. And then suddenly there's an avalanche and it kills a bunch of kids or something, like happened a few years ago, right? So March is extremely dangerous time in the mountains, for friends. I really can't stress that enough. Okay, let's get to the special public avalanche warning and see what it's saying here. So this applies to most of the forecast regions. I suspect not Vancouver Island. But other than that, I mean, just driving up the road here the other day, along the sides of the lake, snow had been sliding down just there, and it's only like a 20, 30-foot high steep section before it levels off the road. But just the way it was all sloughing down there, and I'd said to Nathan as we're driving by it, I haven't seen that too often quite do that the way it's doing, and then it just gave a kind of a clue. Plus, my entire roof just slid off, and I mean, we're talking, a large bunch of snow that was sitting up there with a large icy frozen slab just coming off with a tremendous thud the last couple of days. So those things are always clues to me, what's happening on my roof, what's happening at the Devil's Canyon here, what's happening along the lake, as to the general condition of the snowpack out there. Not that that replaces snow testing out there, but I can extrapolate a little bit from some of those bits of evidence, what the general condition probably is like in the area, if it's going to be really bad or not. So prominent weak layers developed in the upper snowpack formed during periods of drought in January and February and buried 30 to 100 centimeters deep. These layers are made up of a variety of surfaces and may consist of surface hoar, faceted snow, or crust. Overlying these layers, there is now considerable consolidated slab of snow. It's consolidated into, instead of like many layers of different snowstorms, now it's just kind of become one slab, creating dangerous avalanche conditions. So it's that nature of how each of those stratigraphic layers have now formed into one, that they can now move cohesively as one unit, right? So after a relatively stable avalanche period, like I just said, we're entering a period of dramatic change. As we're entering spring weather conditions, whether you think it's spring or not yet. Meteorological spring starts on March 1st. We are now getting into spring weather conditions in North America proper. We have to adapt the mindset to reflect this. Avalanche problems of this nature can be difficult to predict, and there may be limited clues about deeper snowpack instabilities. Avalanches triggered on these layers are likely to be dangerous and destructive. Just don't go out this weekend. Don't do this shit, people. Don't put yourself through it. Don't put your families through it. It's too friggin' dangerous to play in the steep slopes. And I'm going to watch snowmobilers pull in here over the weekend, and I'm going to, in my mind, just say, "My God, I hope Bob and his crew aren't called out here to do a search and rescue for someone buried up at Groundhog," okay? Choose slopes less than 30 degrees in clearings, open trees, and alpine terrain. So if you're in alpine terrain, if you're in open trees, not thickly forested, it's 30 degrees steep, it's clearings, avoid it. Maintain disciplined decision-making because the danger may not be obvious. No more of this, I think we can do it. I think we'll be okay. Oh, it's been fine all day because the conditions keep getting worse as the day goes on. So what was fine at noon isn't fine at 3 in the afternoon. What's fine at 9 in the morning is not fine at noon. Through the day, it gets cool at night in the mountains and everything kind of settles. And then it warms up quickly in the sun. And the solar power is quite strong right now, especially on south-facing slopes. Right? So, don't push it. Don't try. Don't think you can do it. Move one at a time. Avoid those sun-exposed slopes during warm and sunny conditions. There you go. I wasn't even looking at what I was going to say next, and I was already hitting on it. So check avalanche forecasts. Regroup in safe spots without overhead hazards. Move one at a time. Have your transceiver. Have your probe. Have your rescue gear. Have shovel. Be trained. Take the time to learn how to use that stuff because somebody will die. Here's a remotely triggered one by a 7th skier in the Coast Mountains. So 6 skiers went by this area, and the 7th skier somehow triggered it, okay? So, be aware. Just because the first 6 guys did it safely doesn't mean you're going to be able to do it safely. Here's a naturally triggered persistent slab avalanche in the Kootenays. So that's what we're looking at right now. While we're here, we might as well just go to the mountain weather forecast and get one last little brief on weather, even though I just made you a weather video. Ridge for the south, central BC, precipitation to the north. Like I was saying, ridge of high pressure continues to build today and Friday, maintaining dry conditions for most of the south coast and interior ranges. A weakening Pacific front will bring light precipitation over the northwest ranges. Another Pacific front arrives over northern BC late Friday. Ahead of the front, light precipitation expected. Not a whole lot for anybody in southern BC, pretty much whatsoever for maybe up to a week from now or longer. You got friends planning to play out in the mountains this weekend, man, you stop them. You talk to them. You try to get it into their head. Everybody who, if you were working and you're watching these guys come in here, say you're the one selling them the tickets to go use our trails here in Wells, you tell them of the avalanche danger. You make sure they know. You make sure they have the gear. You ask them, do you have the gear? Let's have a culture of safety because that's how we look. It's just one of the many ways we can look out for each other, show concern for each other as a community, care about each other, care about, other people, other working people, other people who are out here in the country, living on the land, being out in the land, working on the land, doing the things we do. Show concern for each other, compassion for each other. All right. Hit like, share, subscribe. We'll be back with you at the podcast tonight. That's the last video for this afternoon, I swear.